Imagine being the rightful heir to one of the most powerful empires in Indian history, and one day, all of a sudden, you are stripped of your title and are exiled from the kingdom, and to survive, you have to blend into the crowds, hide your identity, and fight and solve the problem for the very people you are meant to rule. This is the story of Son of Thanjai, an incredibly ambitious action-adventure game being developed by Elite Studios. What makes this mind-blowing is that it's being built by a small team of just 30 to 35 people, and it's their very first game. Yet, the scale is massive. According to an interview with the studio founder Abraham, every single NPC in this game has their own unique story, and they also possess a memory system that remembers exactly how you treat them. In this video, we are breaking down everything you need to know about this project. So, let's step into the world of Son of Thanjai. This game is set in the 11th century during the Chola Empire period, and in this game, you play as the young 19-year-old prince Rajendra Chola, who is the son of the great ruler Rajaraja Chola. Though it is set in the Chola period, it's not a recreation of the actual story and is fictional to provide the players with a more immersive experience. And the prince's name within the game will be Vinnendhira Chola. At the start of the game, he is nothing but a spoiled prince who knew everything about privilege but nothing about the kingdom he was going to rule one day. The king is old and ill. He sees the rise of political conspiracies, corruption, and assassins within the kingdom. More importantly, he realizes that his son is not yet ready to rule. So to prepare him, the king banishes the prince from the kingdom and throws him outside the palace walls. And for the first time in his life, the young prince was exposed to the world outside the palace. And in this journey, he discovers a kingdom plagued by corruption, exploitation, and powerful individuals who prey on the weak. For the first time in his life, he witnesses the struggles of ordinary people firsthand. And in this story, we see how the young prince fights the evil without revealing his true identity and becomes the king that can protect his people. To give you the best experience possible, the studio created a map that is not too big but feels alive and immersive. And to achieve that, each NPC within the game will have a story of their own and will also possess a memory system that will remember how you interacted with them. And one of the most interesting systems I saw in this game was the gossip system. Based on your actions and how you interact with the NPC, they gossip about you in the game, which is just so cool and realistic. And everything you see in this world is done with utmost care and perfection to depict the 11th century as exactly as possible. And also they have collaborated with Kosai Nagaran, which is a specialized group that reconstructs ancient Tamil instruments directly from 2000-year-old poems and historical inscriptions. I've never seen an indie gaming studio go to this extent to build a game. And the most shocking part is that this project is completely self-funded. According to the founder, there are two ways to play this game. Either you can play it completely in stealth mode and avoid engaging in combat, or you can go all out and cut through your enemies using the weapon that was used at that time, called the Surul Vaal, which is nothing but a flexible whip sword. This game has roughly around 10 archetypes of enemies, and as you progress the story, you fight tougher bosses. And this game also has a morale system, which means if you become strong enough and defeat high-ranking bosses, the low-ranking enemies usually give up and run away instead of fighting you, which makes this realistic and tells you that every action you perform in this world has a meaning and impacts how the NPCs react towards you. Now that we have talked enough about the game, let's talk a bit about the people behind this. Elite Studios is an Indian gaming studio based out of Chennai, which was founded by Abraham, who was initially an engineer working in web and app development, but later came up with this project and built the studio. He also says in an interview how the game development world felt completely different to him compared to the work he used to do. He also said that the development was initially stopped for a couple of months looking at how difficult 3D modeling and in general developing a game was. But later in 2023, they resumed the development with a scaled down scope, focusing heavily on the core combat system. To perfect the game, the studio presented a prototype at the Game Developers Conference in 2023, which was held in San Francisco, and they also got roughly around 500 playtests and gathered crucial player feedback. At the same conference, they met people from Epic Games that unlocked a network of Unreal Engine developers, and they also had a chance to meet with Eric from Super Halo Interactive, who did the motion capture for Kratos in God of War. And the studio was even given a day's permission to shoot at the Las Vegas studio, where they shot over 120 combat and cinematic animations. Initially, the game was using Unreal Engine 4, but was later scrapped and migrated to Unreal Engine 5. And Abraham mentioned that the lead developer only had an RTX 4090 system and one GTX 1650 laptop to test the game. So they spent roughly around a month to optimize the game so that the players with lower spec systems can also enjoy the game without frame drops and stutters. overall this looks like a very interesting game. I personally like the story and the combat system of the game. The graphics is the one thing that can be a bottleneck for this game, because compared to other modern games, the graphics is not at that standard. But according to the studio, there is still around 10 months of production work remaining, so maybe they will polish the game before they release it. But honestly, for a 35% group, they have done a fantastic job. I honestly can't wait to play this game. And just one more thing from my side, if you're interested in playing this game when it comes out, please don't pirate it. This game is not from a huge company, it's coming from a small studio. So please support the game developers instead of pirating it, because there are not many studios in India that would go to this extent to make a game. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.